Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekly Manga Recap. It is March the 22nd, 2018, and we are here to talk about nothing. I don't know.
Manga, I guess, I assume. Nick, I'm not gonna lie. Pretty tired. This is my fifth energy drink of the day.
It's not
Um,
good.
None of them have actually seemed to fully help me for more than just a little bit.
Right,
And
because that's how energy drinks actually work.
and I'm about 90% positive my heart's probably just gonna stop sometime during this podcast, which I for one welcome at this point. So if I plop down, you can call the police if you want. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm I'm probably up to a better place at that point.
Gotcha.
Valhalla, by the way, I'm a Nordic worshiper, so should have dropped that at some point.
Cool. Okay. So, have you, we'll put your body out at sea in a boat and then shoot flaming arrows at it, right?
Nick, I don't have confidence in your hand-eye coordination, so as one last rib, I would like you to be the one that has to launch the arrow at my casket.
It's like that scene in Game of Thrones.
But I have nobody in my life who's a blackfish type character who could run up and grab the bow and just like get it right. So
And then no look it.
yeah, no, I yeah.
What a great scene that is.
It is very good.
Still haven't seen Game of Thrones for like 2 seasons.
You're not missing. There's a dragon.
Eats people, sets them on fire.
Does that stuff.
One's a zombie now, you know.
Well, see there, you know a lot about the show then.
I know plenty about what's happened. I just haven't watched it. I'm not gonna sit down for 20 hours to catch up.
Nick, well, first and foremost, if you're watching any Marvel shows at this point, you probably could just give up on that and spend that time on that instead. Although I have been enjoying Jessica Jones season 2 thus far.
That's good.
Davos is still alive. That's all that matters. I feel like that's the only thing that should matter is Davos is still alive.
I do. Do you know who the villain in Jessica Jones is yet?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because I
And
know that
it's
was a concern of yours.
well, yeah. It takes a little bit, but you find out, and the villain is very good. I think
Cool.
people are going. Well, here's the thing: people are going to be like, "It's not as good as last season," and they're going to say that because last season. Well,
Because Kilgrave was like freaking really ridiculous.
no. Here's the thing: is people are going to be like, "It's not as interesting villain." It's like, no, the villain this time just isn't a charismatic rapist. It's still a character with like a very deep personal connection with Jessica that brings in a lot of thematic elements that are very important this season and poses some very interesting questions. He just doesn't happen to dance around as David Tennant the entire time as
Right.
he, fucking does these sadistic things. It's someone different, but it still very much works for it. It's not like I don't even remember who the villain of Iron Fist was. Was there a villain in Iron Fist? Was the villain like sportsmanship or some bullshit like that? I don't even know.
Well, it depends on how you look at
The
it.
common man's greed. I don't even.
It depends on how you look at it. I consider the main villain of Iron Fist to be Madame Gao, and she's great. But anyway,
I don't even remember she's in that. Nick, I had a moment today when I woke up because
okay.
I've been like this the entire day. I went into the
Great.
kitchen. I opened up the cabinet. I picked up a fork, and I stood there for 5 minutes trying to remember why I came into the kitchen to get a fork. I wasn't hungry. I didn't have food. I don't know why I needed that fork, and I could not figure it out. And it was just me standing in front of the thing like, why do I have this? And I put it down, and I went back to something else. I never
Okay.
figured it out. That's my life today.
I've wandered off places plenty of times thinking about something while I'm supposed to be going to get something, and then I get there, I'm like, what am I supposed to get? Like, damn it, I shouldn't have been thinking about wrestling when I was on my way here.
It happened about 6 or 7 times to me today, where I was
I'm
just
sorry,
doing
dude.
something. I was like walking around trying to clean something, and I was like, what? And then there's, hold on, I gotta find the name of this fucking movie. There's a movie poster for something coming out, and I had just seen it today. Chappaquiddick. It's apparently
Okay.
like some thriller movie about like a car accident. Oh, it was what killed Ted Kennedy.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, hold on, not Ted Kennedy. Ted Kennedy's negligence and resulted in the death of his 28-year-old passenger. So it's a movie on that. But the movie's called Chappaquiddick. I looked at that poster title and legitimately thought I was having a stroke. Because I was like, those letters don't make sense together. What's happening?
McQuiddick? That's not a word.
And I'll tell you what. It was actually a very big problem that they didn't do the thing where they have a bunch of characters' faces with the right names over their heads. Because I was like, that's not Kate Mara. Kate Mara's on the left. That's not her name above it. No, I'm definitely having a stroke. And then I was like, no, everyone's just really tired.
I'm really sorry that you're not feeling your best, dude.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
That'd be really helpful if you were.
Yeah. It's like, all right, Chris, how's this feeling? Like, just poke you through Skype.
I'm like, ow. Ow. Why is it always my ass? Or my stomach? Ow. All right, let's just talk about manga.
Yes, I guess we should. All right, so we are going to do the recap portion of Weekly Manga Recap now, guys. We're going to start things up as we normally do with My Hero Academia. Number 175, Morning, the Day of. As if this is going to be like some sort of horrible incident, as opposed to a guy who really likes exotic teas causing mayhem. So we get things started with a little bit of a montage, seeing what a bunch of different characters are up to at the start of the day. Hatsume is, still inventing stuff at 90 miles per hour. Class 1B is rehearsing their stupid play. Nejire is... I guess this is a beauty queen thing.
It's a beauty pageant pose.
Yes.
It's like how Tyra Banks, Nick. Tyra Banks taught us a lot of important things. One thing she taught us was to smize.
No.
Nick,
no. That makes no sense. You do something different. You tilt your head down.
No, Nick, it's different. See, you can do like this. Maybe like this. And one of those does nothing. The other one lights up a room. Gets you that CoverGirl commercial.
She tilts her head down when she does it.
Which is ironic because none of them are good actresses. So none of them really should have gotten that CoverGirl commercial. I never saw it air. I think they deleted that footage.
You know what, guys? This is actually embarrassing.
Nick, I'm going to talk some real talk here.
Okay.
This might be the exhaustion talking. I think there's a real conspiracy on America's Next Top Model. That's the name of the show. And I think they've been making these commercials, but they're not actually airing anywhere. So where are they airing then, Nick? They got to be airing somewhere.
Well, Chris, it's like how with Tough Enough, the winner earns a contract, but they'll still dump that guy if he sucks.
How many people from Tough Enough have gotten contracts? Like half of them, right?
Quite a few of them got contracts, but like the winner has like never done anything, basically. I don't even think. Well, John Morrison did. He won. I remember that.
Oh, good for him.
And then I think that the next most successful winner after him was like Maven. So
he got thrown into a popcorn machine.
Like every other one, it's like no. Like the last two never even made it out of developmental. So
maybe they had a bad gimmick. Were they river dancers or something?
Well, the guy who won season 5 was Silent Rage, and the other guy was he had like a Yeti thing that he wanted to do. They were really bad. Not everyone can be Patrick Clark, Chris. Okay.
I don't even know who that is.
He's a Velveteen Dream.
I don't know what that is either.
Watch it next to you. Anyway.
I don't know what that is.
It's a wrestling show.
I'm very confused. Why is there a dinosaur in this first page?
I don't know, Chris. They built a dragon animatronic.
Children can't do that.
Well, they're teenagers with superpowers, Chris.
They're idiots with superpowers. Move on. I'm tired.
Yes, that's true. But maybe they thought it was a good idea to build a dragon animatronic. Anyway, there's dancing practice going on. And the night before the festival, and everyone's like, all right, looking good, gold stuff. Looks like everything's going on here. They actually get kicked out before they want to finish because the guard dog teacher guy, whatever his name is, comes in and is like, it's supposed to be curfew time. Go to fucking bed. He doesn't say it like that, but he might as well have.
You remember Road Rover's neck?
Yes, I do.
It was a dog that was like chained up and feral.
Yes.
Or was the dog insane?
I think that was because the transformation process on him didn't work quite as it was supposed to.
It's kind of fucked up, right? Like they kept one dog in like bondage and chains, like slavery almost.
The Hannibal Lecter joke.
That's terrible. Free fifth dog, whatever his name was.
Free fifth dog?
I don't remember what his name was. Doberman or something like that.
He's not a Digimon, Chris.
I don't know, Nick. It's been like 30 years since that show aired.
Time goes by. Nobody can fucking sleep. Like, they're well, not nobody, but a lot of them are really nervous and excited and can't sleep.
Like Christmas.
It's basically a lot like Christmas. I mean, Kaminari and Mine are like right around like, I can't wait for Santa to come. Everyone's doing more and more prep work than they really need to. And Deku notices that the rope's all frayed up from the amount that they've been using it in rehearsals and stuff. And Deku says that he's worried that it's going to break because of all the fraying. And so Kaminari's like, well, why don't you just have Yayorozu just, create some more? And Ashio's like, well, she's already asleep, and she ate your personal factory. To which Kaminari says, well, everyone treats me like I'm their personal generator. And Mineta says, no one respects men these days.
Is that like a jump thing? Or is Japan getting really into the meta commentary of Mineta?
What about men's rights?
Admiral Hodo shouldn't have been in the movie. Although that could be.
Why'd she have purple hair?
My brother.
Why couldn't Admiral Akbar have driven the flayed?
My brother has made both of those arguments.
God,
to
serious.
great extent.
So you're sick of hearing them, is what you're saying?
If I had to hear him talk about fucking the purple hair one more time and bitch about it, it's Star Wars. I don't know what to tell you. Like, one alien's face looks like a butt. Like, it's just, what do you care if she has purple hair because she wants to be rebellious? I don't know. Why don't they just, like, go into her room while she's sleeping and just reach into her face and pull things out?
Anyway.
Is that how the power works? Can't he just, like, reach into her and pull stuff out?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about, like, ripping her eyes out or something.
No, I mean, they shouldn't need to do that. That wouldn't make good ropes. Like, she shoots stuff out of her skin, so can't they, like, grab it and...
It's something she activates by will, so... And she has to be thinking about. So.
Punch her in the face. Be like, hey, bitch, fucking rope's expensive these days, I assume. I don't know. I haven't been to a store.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. Well, they're like, hey, we need rope. Ours is frayed, apparently.
So Deku says he's going to go and buy some more rope first thing in the morning. There, that's established now. Okay.
Cool.
So everyone finally tries to go to sleep after one big, yeah, everything's going to be great. And then, sure enough, first thing in the morning, Deku sets out so that he can go and buy some rope. It's very early. He comes across Hatsume, who is covered in smudges and dirt. Yeah, apparently she didn't get sleep at all, basically. She's like, I finished that thing that you asked me to do.
Nick, who was your favorite Peanuts?
My favorite Peanuts character?
Yeah, because she looks like Pigpen. I should have told you the tangent I got to that.
Gotcha. I've always been fond of Linus.
You would be a Linus.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I like the black kid who shows up for 2 scenes in the movie when he dances it. I don't even know his name. I don't know if they gave him one.
I think his name's like Franklin or something.
Franklin,
like
that's
that.
right, Franklin. He shows up in the movie to dance and then leaves. Carry on.
Anyway, she's finished the devices that Deku asked her to work on super early. And according to her, it's no big deal because she has a 36-hour nap scheduled today. So she's just going to go to bed now.
I like that plan.
36-hour nap? Okay, let's get started on that. He was actually quite. I should mention he was actually out with All Might. He was actually out practicing. It seems based on the pose that he's in when Hatsume finds them. And Toshidori is really blown away by the size of these gauntlets that she has given to Deku, because he's like, wow, when I had equipment that was designed to match 20 to 30% of my power, it was absurdly unwieldy. So technology has really come a long ways these days, especially for, a 15-year-old to invent this. Woo!
Yuck. Like gun control is a big debate right now.
Yes.
Do you ever have, like, protection in your house?
What, guns?
I do have protection in my house. And it's the promo Yu-Gi-Oh cards that get sent. And I keep those underneath my pillow in case a Yu-Gi-Oh duelist tries to send me to the Shadow Realm. But I'm starting to think it's not going to be very good because I don't know how to link summon.
You don't have, like, an actual deck that would work with them?
No, I just have the 3 promo cards I've gotten. What does a black card do? It's got, like, a black border on it.
If it's a black card, then it's going to be an Xyz monster, which means that you overlay 2 monsters that are on your field that are of the same level, which is the same, and the level has to be the same as the rank of the monster you're trying to summon. And then you put the Xyz monster on top of the stacked on top monsters that you've overlaid, and those become its Xyz materials, which you can detach from it and send to the graveyard in order to activate various effects.
I'm starting to think I'm not going to win this duel. All right, carry on.
All right. So okay, so Deku tries out using the gauntlets off screen for a little bit, but then he has to go and actually buy rope and stuff. He jogs off towards it. As he's jogging off, he comes across a pair of figures.
There's a dragon at the festival too, and a vampire. You think it's a superhero or?
I'm imagining
decoration?
that it's. I think that I don't know. I think that it's a superhero, and he's actually detaching them to the top of the tent. The dragon's probably decoration.
That makes sense.
Unless there is just a superhero whose power, his quirk is to turn into a smiley, goofy-looking Shenron from Dragon Ball Z.
Dope. I'd love that power. You call it like smiley, fake dragon eyes.
So yeah, I turn into like this kind of Shenron-looking thing. It's like, oh, can you like grant wishes, or are you super huge, or is it, no? I just smile like a dope.
It's a good thing.
So, on his way back from picking up the supplies, he comes across Gentle and La Brava, who are in disguise, meaning they're wearing very conspicuous-looking jackets and hats and sunglasses. Apparently he bumps into them, I think, or he almost does, because, Gentle's like, oh, watch yourself, young man. And he actually says, like, oh, just when I was enjoying the aftertaste of the golden tips imperial. Yeah. And so at that moment, like, Deku, like, looks off at the little shack that they just came from. He's like, oh, I guess that little house must be a cafe. Yeah. And Gentle is like, whoa, what? And he gets very distracted because Deku knows what Golden Tips Imperial is because Yaoyorozu told them about it. And he's like, oh, yes, you have much refined taste. And wait a second. Wait. Oh, this guy attends you way. Oh, whoops. And Deku realizes, because they've been talking for a little while, like, wait a minute, I recognize this guy's voice. He's talking about tea. Because he saw the video in the last chapter. And he actually puts the pieces together pretty quickly. It's always nice to have little moments that shows, like, wait a minute, Deku's not an idiot. Always. So.
Figure that shit out like a fucking clever squirrel.
Yes, a very clever squirrel.
It's the smartest animal when you think about it. Like they store shit in your car. When you're not driving it, obviously.
So Gentle tries to get away because he realizes, wait a minute, I should stop talking about how much I like tea because that might tip off who I am. But it's too late. He's already tipped off who he is. And Deku just flat out says, like, wait a minute, are you here to pull off your big job? And Gentle realizes the jig is up. They start putting everything down to get ready to fight. And Gentle says, La Brava, start recording. And Deku is deciding to handle this by himself because if he tries to raise the alarm, then, well, they're going to cancel the festival because there will have been a disturbance. So, yep, showdown happening. There we go.
Like, I cried during the last Jumanji movie.
Okay.
It's got two really sad parts.
Okay.
So, spoilers for New Jumanji. So they go into it. I don't know. There's a dude, Harry Styles, or one of the like losers from that boy band, I think. Or it's, I don't know. He's a pretty kid. I don't know anymore because I've gotten old and they're passing by me. So he's like some dude, and I don't even really know. But he's already been trapped in the game for a while, and they go to find him, and he's got like this whole base set up, and they're like, oh cool, you built like a new place for yourself, and he's like, oh, I didn't build this. And he points to a sign that says Alan Parrish was here. And they're like, Alan Parrish built this. And I was like, that's Robin Williams. That's a dope little nod to him. Mm-hmm. And then at the very end of the movie, yeah, this is spoilers for Jumanji. So don't listen if you haven't seen it. And you should. It's a pretty good movie. They all get out of the movie or game. Spoilers. But they wouldn't kill anybody. That'd be kind of fucked up in a kid's movie. So they make it out, but the one guy got trapped in like the 90s. So he got brought back out of the game exactly when he got taken out. So he's like 20 years older than everybody else. And the one girl had a crush on him, so they went to go see him. He's like a dad now, and he has kids. And he named his daughter after the girl that he was kind of falling in love with in the game, because he's like, you saved me. I named my daughter after you. But then he also like briefly throws out, I named my son Alan, and I lost it. I was like, Robin Williams lives on. The character he played in a baby that's never going to be another character. But I was very emotional in that moment, Nick. He named his baby after Robin Williams. It's his character.
Yes.
It was a pretty good chapter if we never learn. Sorry, wait, what? No, My Hero. My Hero. It's a pretty good My Hero.
Was it now?
I thought it was decent.
Okay. All right. Deku is confronting Gentle and La Brava. We'll see how this plays out in the next chapter. Let's move on. God damn it.
La Brava had a gun, Nick.
Just shot him in the head.
Just shot him right dead there.
No, La Brava, we're supposed to do things elegantly. And it's like, but he's got a fucking sheet. He's gonna fucking squeal on us, Gentle.
She's like, blop, blop, motherfucker.
And here's the double tap.
Suck it.
Let's talk about Food Wars. All right. Food Wars Shokugeki no Soma. Chapter 255, Those Who Wander the Wilderness. It's continuing the flashback from last time of when Azami first met Tsukasa and Rindo. And yeah, so continuing on from when Azami was like, that was a horrible show and it didn't reach any of those pigs. He wraps up this time by saying, the main dish you created today. You don't think it was a perfect 100 out of 100, do you? Excuse me, just leaves immediately after saying that. What a fucking troll. Just your food sucked.
Called him a cuck too, probably.
Probably, yeah. Later on, Rindo and Tsukasa are talking about that.
Cuck's not even that good of an insult, because the word cuckold is so much better.
It sounds more insulting in general.
It just sounds more interesting, like cuckold. It's such a funky word, like welcome or something like that, where you're just like, this is a cool word. Or spaghetti.
Well, yeah, but it's got to be one syllable for trolls to use it, Chris.
Cuckold is much better.
I know, but in order for trolls to use it, it has to be one syllable so that they'll remember it. You know.
I feel that's derogatory.
No, you think. If you refer to me as a cuckold instead of a cock, then it's like send the pinky.
You're just dropping knowledge on them then. You're being official about it.
All right. Rindo is trying to get Tsukasa basically like, don't worry about that guy. He was just a jerk. And Tsukasa says, no, he was different. Like, I don't know. Something about the way that he said it kind of spoke to me. They fly back from America, it looks like. Or he's flying to America. He arrives in America. That's where he goes. Tsukasa goes on his own.
Nick,
and he's just like hanging out.
Philadelphia for almost every reason.
Okay.
But their airport is pretty spectacular.
Good to know.
But I've taken several very fiendish dumps in their train station as my way of striking back against the city.
Also, it looks as though he just gets a chili dog from this vendor.
Didn't flush once. Take that, Philadelphia. Well, is that a sandwich?
He gets I don't know if it's a...
It's a hoagie.
So he gets a hoagie from this one vendor, which I did find to be very odd.
Maybe it's a gyro.
So he gets this bun with meat in it from a vendor, which, I don't know, it seems very non-Tsukasa to get that kind of food. I guess he doesn't really care if he's just out on the street or whatever. He's like, oh, whatever. Fancy French food, hot dog. Same difference, really. It's all going to end up as shit in the end. So,
is a sandwich a hot dog, Nick?
A hot dog, I believe, it qualifies as a sandwich. Yes.
Cool.
I've had debates on this recently, using the grid that people have made. So, so Azami pulls up in his convertible, just randomly comes across Tsukasa on the street. He's like, "Hey, kid." And, he's like, oh, what a coincidence to find you here. And Tsukasa's like, you clearly knew exactly where to find me, don't I? This goes, oh, what a coincidence. Come on. Get in the car. They go to a restaurant, it seems. And Azami kind of just starts giving his whole spiel. He says, hey, let's imagine that Pablo Picasso was still alive. Or, Jackson Pollock, or Marcel Duchamp, or I don't know how to pronounce these names. Fancy schmancy artists. And even Tsukasa doesn't know who some of them are at all. Basically, the artist puts out a brand new painting. If you were to look at the painting, could you tell if it was truly art or merely a canvas covered with random paint blotches? And Tsukasa's like, well, I don't really know all that much about art, so I guess I wouldn't really be able to tell. And Azami says, exactly. Now, instead of thinking about paintings this way,
is in the eye of the beholder.
Thank you, Chris.
Like that episode of Twilight Zone where it turned out everybody were pig monsters except for the two hot people.
Right.
That's where we had to re-examine our perspectives of beauty.
Right. I thought that they were hideous.
But Chris Hemsworth's got to be the pinnacle of man, right? Nick, are you a Chris Hemsworth or are you a Jason Momoa?
Yes.
You gotta have one.
Only one? What? So they have to fight to the death for me?
No, what are you though?
Can they fight to the death for me?
Well, fucking obviously Thor would win. It's not even a question.
I don't know. Did you see Drogo rip out that guy's throat? That was pretty pimp.
Electricity beats water, Nick. It's fucking the.
I'm not going for Aquaman, Jason Momoa.
Well, that's the only one you can go with.
Oh well, if it's Thor versus Aquaman, then yeah, I'm gonna go with Thor.
It's obviously the choice. You're not gonna go with one of their other.
Especially movies. if we're going for gladiatorial combat Thor.
It's like you'd want to go with Chris Hemsworth from Crocodile Dundee. He probably doesn't have good many powers.
It doesn't exist.
Wait, that's not happening?
It's not happening. That was a fake thing that was supposed to get people watching the ad in the Super Bowl so that they would want to go to Australia. It's not happening. It's not happening, guys. That movie's not happening.
But Margot Robbie was in it.
I don't care. She's Australian.
Why would she film the scenes if it's not happening?
So, anyway.
I bet you're wrong.
So, anyway, Azami's like, imagine like this great work of art exists. Would you be able to tell if it was actually art? Okay, in exchange, instead of painting, it's cooking. If you tasted a dish, you, because you know all about cooking and stuff, would be able to tell that whoever was aiming for it, they, you know, what they were trying to accomplish, what tricks they used. But all the people out there, they don't have proper palates and training. They have no idea. So it doesn't matter if that twist in your dish was inspired, if you overreached and it fell flat. Their reactions would not change because they're freaking swine who don't know anything about this. Those self-proclaimed foodies trip over themselves to praise your cooking because they're impressed with your title. And you're growing sick of that, aren't you? I say, forget those plebeians who wouldn't know gourmet if it bit them in their backside. Your energies are best spent creating your art only for people who can truly comprehend its brilliance. People like me. And, yeah, they go on a little bit longer, but that's the main thrust of the conversation. This is what they really actually bond over. And I really like this conversation that they have and this explanation for why Azami's doing what he's doing. He's a real dick about it, but it's like you can see the logic behind it and why it would connect with someone like Tsukasa who's frustrated with where he is. So, really dig it.
Nick, do you think Joe's Crab Shack actually displayed a picture of a man being hanged? So I'm on Snopes now, and I just started clicking on things. Oh, it's true. Shit. I'm not going to get Joe's Crab Shack anymore. I actually don't know where one is. Google Joe's Crab Shack. Sorry, what was this? Yeah, it was a food chapter.
Okay.
Can't spell like crab. What am I doing? Yeah, it's something in New Jersey. No, I mean, like, we're getting more Azami and Tsukasa. And it's kind of important to get that. I don't know if I'd eat ants, though. I feel like I'd be kind of grossed out if she was like, you just ate ants. Like, I don't care how out of a 16-year-old you are. You can't serve me ants, and I'm not going to fight you on it.
Azami's flashback thing, or rather Tsukasa's flashback thing, ends with Azami saying that they need the proper compass for them to accomplish this whole thing. A compass that will guide all ships out of the wilderness of uncertainty. And my daughter holds it. It's called the Divine Tongue. So essentially, this is getting back to that thing that we already knew about Erina in terms of her importance to Azami's plan. But I do like this extra context that we're getting about that. Yeah, and Rindo has put some sort of like oil that comes from ants in her milfoil dish, a mushroom milfoil, or however you say it. But yes, she extracted formic acid from ants to put it into it. And apparently she's just got a living one just like hanging out on her finger. I would never do that. I would be like, die, ant. I might eat that ant before I would let it just sit on my finger like a pet. I hate ants. I hate ants.
You're like fucking not Crocodile Dundee. Indiana Jones. He ate snakes, but you ate ants.
I nearly died from stepping in a fire ant hill when I was a kid, so there you go.
That's right, I forgot. You're a fucking pussy. Sorry, carry on.
What the fuck, dude? I was one.
You were a bitch. No, carry on.
Ant-Man's fine, Replica Rabbit. They're not real ants. I just don't like real ants in person. Anyway, even frickin' Auntie and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is okay.
Like if they show up at the diner, get a table.
Oh, kill them.
They get a table across from you, and you're like, this country would be better without all these ants.
Fucking ant people.
Go back to your colony.
This is why I was totally on board when Black Panther was talking about the damn colonists. Fuck yeah, you're right, Killmonger. We don't need no fucking ant people coming to our places, ruining our restaurants and biting our children. What? White people? Oh, that's very different then.
Nah, I think we need a couple of those.
Courage's weird fantasy is that she's a moth being carried away by an Ant-Man, but I don't know. It reminds me very much of was the Cocky Seeds or something like that in an early chapter where she imagined herself as a woman getting molested by a cocky seed-headed merman. So I've seen weird things like this before in Food Wars.
Well, that ant's gonna eat her, isn't he?
Yes, he's carrying her away to devour her.
Shit, it's kind of dark.
March steadily and defiantly toward the main course. But everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that's wonderful, perfect, awesome," and Borinda says, "Hey, well, main attraction still isn't out yet," and Tsukasa has revealed his own specialty, his very best true gourmet, which is this large pastry-looking thing. And it seems as though he's going to be presenting that next, but I guess we'll see. This was a really good chapter. Some good stuff from the flashback, and also just really random Food Wars-y stuff. So, at the end. I liked it.
I mean, I could make that.
Well, I mean, it depends on what it is.
It just looks like a pile of fucking mashed potatoes or some shit. Can't be that hard to make. Its cost is a bitch.
All right. So, let's move on.
Yeah, what's the dealio?
We're going to talk a bit about, I guess, the jump starts. I'm still really not feeling Jujutsu Kaisen, honestly. The guy passes a test to get it accepted into the academy. That's what happened in this chapter. That's all I really got.
I like it because these series often have dudes who get controlled by a monster, like Naruto or Bleach or Black Clover, possibly even World Trigger. Weren't completely sure. There's a lot of that shit. And this is the only one where, the inner voice is a shithead that just, talks it open to people. I like that aspect. That, he could be like, hey, one chai latte. And then, the fucking mouth could open up on his fan and be like, you're kind of fat. And then just, hide itself. And everyone would be like, you're rude. You were rude to that person. And he'd be like, no, it was my demon hand.
I do like the bit where a mouth opens up on his cheek, so he covers it up. He's like, "Shut up!" and then it just comes out of his hand.
Yeah,
so that's a cool little scene.
I like that. There should be more shit stirs. Nick, I told you this story already. Never mind.
Okay.
Carry on.
All right, that's all I really have to say about Jujutsu Kaisen. You want to talk about Noah's Notes a little bit?
Yeah. So
it's a long chapter, honestly, but there's not a whole lot important that happens from it.
I gotta get to the chapter. There it is. So, she needs to wear shorts.
She really does.
Or something. Maybe not wear it, up past her belly button. I feel like that could help.
Past her belly button? So, they're so high-waisted. So they're so high-waisted that you don't have to see her navel either.
Well, no, I mean, she has it so high up. Doesn't it look like it's halfway up her torso? The skirt. I don't know how skirts work, Nick. Don't they wear around the hips? I don't know. This is probably so much care. So all humanity has gotten wiped out, and
that seems standard, honestly.
Yeah, and they talk about how there's birds and snakes living down here because life finds a way. That was Jeff Goldblum for you. And an owl starts trying to take her away, and they're like, well, this is good because an owl will take us to a place it's made its nest. It doesn't make a nest, it just picks some place to be its nest. And then they use a flashlight He uses a flashlight to scare the owl and knock it out. They take a lot of care to tell you, like, the owl's okay. It'll be all right. And I'm like, no, it's not. That owl doesn't have food now. Its children are going to starve. Dickhead.
The food weren't part of the ecosystem before they showed up.
Well, that owl's going to take too long to wake up. Food's going to be all gone. Children are going to starve. So they find a diary. And the diary has, like, a bunch of stuff in it. Like, it's like, today the U.S. elected a president who's really bad. And I'm like, wait. So the future still exists, but we still get Trump in the second cycle? Like, that still happens?
Humanity has repeated itself exactly, Chris.
But then I'm like, has it literally repeated itself down to the down to the individuals?
Yes.
Though? Then I'm like, why can't it be like an alternate timeline or something like that? That like is like an Earth 2 or something like that.
No.
I'm just saying, it's weird that literally everything is exactly the same.
Well, like a weather event is happening in the exact same time that it did the first go round.
Is it the exact same spot?
Yes. A typhoon is going to hit the same location at the same time, and it's the same one in the season.
Wouldn't logic suggest then that there was also a her and a Noah back then that were trying to do the same thing and failed?
Yes, it would.
But then why didn't they succeed? Does that mean these people failed?
Who knows?
This is fucking stupid or complicated. I don't know. They look
Time loop.
I look at the note or the last page, and it's December of 2020, and she's like, "No, I'm not going to get married now. What about my future?" And she gets really sad about it, and he has so many words. It's like 3 pages of just words screaming. I bet he talks about important stuff. I'm sorry. He
talks about the possible causes of why humanity vanished. Because
he lists 7.
There's no trace of human life in the ruins that they're finding. There are animals and there are objects, but there is no sign of humanity. So presumably something happened that wiped out humanity that didn't actually destroy the world or harm it in any other way. And so that's why he lists these things. And that's why war is top of the list, because, like, yeah, humans killing each other makes sense. So
she's like, "Oh my God, let's do something." And he's like, "Cool, I'm going to." And she's like, "Well, I'm going with you because I want to get married and I want to have my own future." And he's like, "Good. Hopeless students are my favorite kind." Which sounded kind of creepy. He's like, young, dumb, and full of cum. That's how I liked him. And I was like, that's weird. That's a child to you.
Are you saying that these 2 chapters have just been like the preamble of the porn that nobody pays attention to?
Yeah, well, people would pay for the porn, Nick. She looks really cute, I think, to people.
Like the producer comes in, it's like, "So, okay, I see that you have spent our entire season's budget on this one episode. What, that was supposed to be for a season? Damn it. I was really excited. I made this huge epic story. Oh, well."
Yeah, they make Street Sharks porn.
I'm not surprised.
That's what I mean. Everything's pornography. So she's like, "I'm going to join you." And then he texts like, "This was a dumb decision." I agree. Credits.
Maybe it'll be like a My Hero Academia thing where it's like, "But I would soon come to regret my decision." And then, like, for one chapter, she's just upset that he doesn't, like, have snacks all the time.
She's steps in gum.
She's
crying.
This is all because I wanted to try and save the world. Oh, well.
She'll get over it.
Yeah, presumably. Interesting stuff for the series overall, but honestly, this chapter didn't advance a whole lot of it. I feel like you could have probably condensed this together with the first chapter and carried the same point across. It feels like we haven't really moved so much forward as fleshed things out for the current narrative. I think that, the real judge of, like, hey, Is this series going to keep staying interesting? It's going to be the next chapter. Because we've gotten a few series that are like that, where it's like, oh, that first chapter is really interesting. The second one doesn't really do a whole lot. So we'll see.
I think my concern is it's 100% replicating itself, and that seems very silly to me. Like, it's like you took an interesting premise and you decided to make it less interesting by being like, it all repeats itself. Because, like, history's cyclical, but not with the same fucking people.
That's what I said last time, dude. Like, I literally said, like,
no,
well, yeah, sure, you need to learn from history because those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it, but you're literally entering a time loop, so it's like, that's cheating.
Like, it's not like Genghis Khan came back 100 years later and it was the same dude, and he's like, I'm just going to keep doing this again, or something like that.
I mean, hey, it worked out for me.
It's like there was a second Hitler who, on his second run through of the Third Reich, was like, let's try Russia one more time. I think I got it this time.
Well, they didn't know that they were repeating it, Chris, because they didn't know.
But these people do know now.
Oh, yes, these two specifically.
Man, you know, this story was better when it was Mass Effect. Got Garrison robots.
Let's talk about our new jumpstart, Ziga. Ziga is a kaiju series, which is a bit odd. I'm going to try and fast forward a bit through this premise. Basically, we've got our main character who is experiencing prophetic dreams, as they turn out to be. They turn out to be prophetic. So he basically sees this giant monster destroying everything, and then it ends with him like getting stepped on. We get introduced after he wakes up to his next door neighbor and best friend, Amagi, who, you know, very inspirational to him and has a crush on her, or cares about her, etc. He, as it turns out, is actually a multi-talented guy. He's very athletic. He's got strong artistic ability. What is it? What is this guy's name? I know they say his name at one point. Whatever. So he just decides, like, when all these clubs try and recruit him, whatever, he'll just join 3 of them. Because Amagi basically has had that much of an inspirational effect on him to actually try and push himself to his limits and try hard and stuff. He also has gotten her a gift to just kind of like help her out, for thank her for helping him out in general. And everyone's like, "Oh, you guys dating?" And he's like, "No, I just wanted to thank her for stuff." And it's this weird fat bird plushie thing. And she's like, "It's cute and weird, like you." It's like, oh, okay.
You think of me as a insult shit right there.
So Hachigane, our main character, Hachigane is his name, gets approached by this guy in a suit who's accompanied by all these really Men in Black looking people. And he's like, "Hey, I want to speak to you about something." And they just take him up to the roof of the school building to talk with him. And he introduces himself. He says, "I'm Tenshiro Urbano, and I'm here to recruit you because you've got you're qualified basically to be a soldier in this weird elite unit that we've got going on because you're actually familiar with the enemy. You've seen them in these dreams, and they're not just dreams. And also, you know, you've got all these different talents and stuff that we've heard about. That's a sign of the kind of person that we're looking for. And but the main thing is the dreams. There are people who have prophetic dreams about this. Because that thing that you've been seeing, yeah, it actually exists. Check it out. We got photographic proof. Recognize this guy. And yeah, so they know for a fact that Hachigane actually has seen this thing in his dreams because the monster attacked like this secret U.S. military base. So he should not know about it. So the fact that he does means that he has actually, like, you know, seen weird visions and stuff. obviously Hachigane is like not believing any of this shit. Then one of these like lieutenants tries to sneak up behind him with a gun, and Hachigane for some reason has spider sense attuned to it. And when that happens, he spins around, sees that she's pointing the gun at him, and reacts instinctively to try and deflect the gun. And they're like, "All right, that was a test for you. You passed." And there's some stuff about how like he's attuned to a frequency that it gives off, which basically is a confirmation that he is this specific ability that they're looking for. There's more explanation of who they are and what they're up to and stuff, but they just kind of leave him behind to contemplate their proposal. Hachigane contacts Amagi while he's, deep in thought and stuff. And they just have a quick conversation at night, and we get more insight into their connection, their relationship. Basically, Hachigane used to be this real... Thank you, Chris. Hachigane used to be this real slacker who would never try anything.
I'm sorry.
Amagi pushed him to actually, achieve his full potential. And so because of that, she's an inspirational force to him. Things are going pretty great. Then he's walking to school one day. He sees this... I don't know. She looks like Lily from Pokemon. Whatever. And he has a vision while he's awake. It's not a prophetic dream. He's actually, awake to experience it. And he looks off in the distance and sees that a building that he saw the beast rampaging around in is just off on the horizon. It's actually near where he's planning to meet Amagi that day. And basically the monster emerges out of the sea, rampages around, buildings fall over, bad stuff happens. The monster also demonstrates it has this beam that can shoot out of its palms that destroys only biological material, which is pretty messed up. It explodes a soldier in a helicopter without damaging the helicopter around him. And yeah, it's bad. Godzilla rampages around for a bit. Hachigane shows up in the destruction later looking for Amagi. He sees her hand coming out of a pile of rubble, holding the plushie that he had given to her. He rushes over to it and sees that only her hand has not been destroyed. And yeah, bad stuff happened.
Could be anyone's hand.
Could be anyone's hand. There's all sorts of theories that I've seen thrown around about this series. Oh, it's like a Hachigane actually turns into the monster, or maybe Amagi survived and is going to come back as like a cyborg, or she's going to come back because it was someone else's hand who was holding it. All sorts of different things. I hope that she's not just dead, because if that is the case, then it's very much come on, seriously, the inspirational figure dies in the first chapter. Oh no, it's like, come on. This is a series that kind of has hit a lot of beats that I think that we've seen in certain ways before, but it's done very effectively, I think. And I am actually looking forward quite a lot to seeing more from it.
I don't remember most of the series. It kind of flowed in and out. The art was kind of boring. Boring's a bad word. I shouldn't use boring. Boring implies that it wasn't good. It is good. It's just not interesting in the way that you'd kind of want a jump start to be. It feels very similar to stuff we've seen before. Because I'm not trying to poop on his dream. He was... Oh,
you're talking about, like, in comparison, say, to, like, Bo's Beats having, a dragon wrapped around the Tokyo Tower, or the minigun that you sealed and stuff.
Just that art also kind of looked a little bit more interesting, too. Like, this is just, like, big-eyed anime people with spiky anime hair, and that's it. It's not really, like, different enough, I feel like. But, I don't know. I just didn't really care about this series. I think it kind of hit a bad note for me when it was like the female character just exists to be like a fuel source for the guy to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know. Can't she have dreams of her own? I mean, maybe find them out, but it looks like she's dead.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very upset if it's just gonna be like, yep. Well, so she was existed so that when she died, he would have fuel to decide to take action, and that was all that she was there for. It's like, that's lame. So
it just feels like she should do more, or they should actually like make their relationship feel like a real friendship, as opposed to she's kind of like a toaster right now. He's friends with.
The monster destroyed my toaster. Damn you, Ziga!
I might as well did. I mean,
there were probably plenty of toasters in those buildings that Ziga destroyed.
Do you think it's intentional timing? This comes out the same week as Pacific Rim.
I'll bet you it is.
That'd be pretty cool. Well, does it come out in Japan though the same time? Does it?
I don't know.
I bet it doesn't. They always get stuff later than us, except when they get it earlier than us, or when they get it at the same time as us. But that's some truth. But anyway, I think a kaiju series could be super cool. I've always thought like more giant monster fighting series would be kind of dope. I just think this one doesn't particularly inspire very much out of me.
Let's see.
But it might be because I read it and like Monster 4. So my heart was kind of stopping. Things were fading in and out of existence. It's kind of like being on that tunnel in Willy Wonka.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that. Nick,
gotcha.
I drank furnace oil this past week.
You drank what?
Furnace oil.
How?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. So...
It happened, though.
By the way, Japan's release date for Pacific Rim 2, or whatever you want to call it, Uprising, whatever, is the 13th of April. So.
But when does their Crocodile D come out?
It doesn't.
I didn't find anything to verify it. I couldn't. The Snopes was confusing, and I got scared.
All right. So, that's all 3 Jumpstart series, guys. If any of them has really caught you, then remember to be sure to vote for them in the Shonen Jump polls that you can find on Viz's website. That way, they might actually get picked up, and you might see them regularly. Maybe we'll cover them regularly. We'll see. But for the time being, we're going to move on to Dr. Stone.
Yeah, stoned.
Ugh, disgusting. So, it's chapter 50, Chris.
I'm sorry.
Chapter 50. Z equals 50. Humanity's greatest weapon. We made it through a year of Dr. Stone. That's cool.
Hot diggity.
Yes, exactly. So the first part of the chapter is a flashback to when Hyoga first was awakened from his petrification. And after being awakened, some random nudniks were like, oh, you look so whippy and stuff. And Tsukasa's like, well, why don't you try sparring with him and find out how strong he is? And Hyoga's like, okay. And he beats the crap out of them with his, tube spear thingy. And then we get a little bit of a look at some of what Tsukasa has accomplished in the meantime. We see a few people who are, members of the village. It's not all just burly motherfuckers. There's, some people who it looks like might end up becoming important later.
Look at the little cutie, like a little cutie girl. She's like, hi.
With the black hair?
Yeah, she's like a cute girl. Like she's probably like an anime model or something.
An anime model?
And that's why he brought her out. He's like, my dorks need anime. Carry on.
Anyway. Also, they live in this sort of, I guess it's a set of caves?
Oh my god. Hold on. Sorry, carry on. I forgot Roseanne's coming back tonight. But I don't know if it's tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
I said carry on.
Okay. Tsukasa gives his whole spiel to Hyoga. It's like, behold nature's bounty from the moment we were born. Back in our time, we were told every last inch of this world belongs to one greedy old bastard or another. Capitalism bad. is essentially the crux of his argument. And honestly, his whole plan doesn't sound bad on the surface. It's like, we will build things up from scratch and we'll do it properly, and we won't, destroy nature or anything like that. We'll, live off the land and only take what we need. And this way things will actually, be proper and done well. And there won't be people who are, putting others down with their bullshit capitalism stuff. Are you not missing Roseanne, Chris? Is everything okay?
It's next week.
Next week, okay.
They're going to have both Beckys in it.
But then, of course, he gets to the problem, which is like, okay, well, if we're going to live this way, then the world's not going to actually be able to support 7 billion people. The herd must be culled. And so Tsukasa says, yep, no need to replicate the past. We will purify the rotten human race and take our first steps towards building a new world. And to that end, I'm more than willing to get my hands dirty. Then we catch up to the present. Hyoga goes back to the village and, to Tsukasa's kingdom, I guess, whatever. And yeah, he's like, Gen was lying to us. The village has got lots of scientific powers, and Senku's alive. And we get a reaction shot from Tsukasa, which is honestly, like, kind of goofy looking. He looks like he hasn't slept very much, basically, Chris. He's like, yeah, like that.
I don't get it.
Maybe he's actually like got his eyes closed and he's just painted on the eyes over his eyelids so that he can sleep in his throne while looking intimidating.
What if those aren't the rock cracks, but he just was putting on eyeliner? Fuck! All right, well, this one's gonna... Well, I better even it out on this side. And then he's like, motherfuck!
No one will question it. So, Chris, what's the super special weapon that will give the Kingdom of Science an advantage over Tsukasa's empire?
Pooper scoopers.
Exactly.
They can make...
No.
They can make them and pick up the dogs wherever they go.
And you'll have to stop and go into the store in order to get doggy bags, but we'll have them ready to go no matter where our dogs poop.
It shows poop on the next page. I was right. There's a picture of poop.
Is that what the seashell is then? To scoop up the poop?
Yeah, well, what else?
Chris, what are the 3 seashells in Demolition Man?
Wait, what's Demolition Man?
Oh,
the movie?
Yes.
Conch. Flat one.
That's not what I mean.
Coral. I'm actually naming the seashells from Animal Crossing Wild World, I think. But you need them to get the...
I don't know if you've ever actually seen Demolition Man, because that's before you watched movies. Well, it's before we were born, anyway.
Well, so. I know... not Arnold.
Sylvester Stallone.
That's the guy. He's in it.
Yes.
Is that the 3 boob one?
No, that's Total Recall.
Is that let off some
That's
Steam
Arnold
Bennett?
Schwarzenegger. The what now?
Is that let off some Steam Bennett?
No. That's... I forget which one that is. What the title of it is, but that's the one where he's like a former Marine or what the hell ever. Yeah. That's the same one with I Lied in it, though. Anyway.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Anyway, Senku's plan in order to combat Tsukasa's empire is that they are going to invent cell phones, and that way they're going to be able to communicate with each other no matter where they are. And yeah, wouldn't you know it, the idea that Taiju brought up in like chapter 3, they're actually going to go for that now. And Senku's explanation is pretty, good, which is just, well, if you've got really good communication, then, you will have a tremendous advantage in battle. And also, we have moles inside of Tsukasa's empire, Taiju and Yuzuriha. So they're going to be doing this, and they're going to, at the very least, make cell phones. Maybe not like full like tablet smartphones or anything like that. They might end up being, 90s bulky cell phones. But that's what they're planning to do, and he lays out what their plan is with the typical like map of inventions leading up into creating a cell phone.
Well, they don't talk about building a keyboard, so I don't think they're doing the Sidekick.
The what now?
Sidekick, Nick. You're not black. You wouldn't know.
You got me there. I do think that there were some people who were suggesting this when we got the last chapter. It's a pretty straightforward idea. It seems like a tremendous leap forward when their most recent invention was katanas, but then again, they made some pretty huge leaps forward in order to get antibiotics going. So there you go. And
Senku's like playing Civilization but cheating.
Yes.
He's like that dude who got all the world wonders at the start, and now he gets like triple science every time he builds something. And you're like, fuck you. Why am I playing this game? This took 7 hours of my life. I'm angry. I need to punch the computer.
That's it. I'm invading Gandhi.
I'm going to burn my fields. So that way when you conquer me, you have nothing left.
Oh, the lose-lose tactic. All right. That is it. Basically.
Oh, I get to do We Never Learn?
You get to do We Never Learn, Chris.
I need to get to the chapter. And the 4 is hard to find. There it is. So, this chapter is built on the idea of a game. I don't know, maybe this exists. It feels like it wouldn't.
I bet it exists because it's simple enough.
It seems like a dumb game, but maybe it's because I've never known the affection of another. And so you just say I love you. And apparently it doesn't even have to be to somebody like of the gender you're attracted to, because later on your wig is like, a whole bunch of stinky dudes show up and I could say it to them and not mean it. But like you say I love you and the other person just keeps saying it again until they get so embarrassed by it that they either lose or the other person just can't say it anymore, which seems like a really weird game because there's no escalation to it. So it's just almost endurance. But if it's two people who don't give a fuck, Nick, I love you.
Again.
Nick, I love you.
Again.
Nick, I love you.
Again.
I want to fuck your mouth.
Fucking cheater.
That's a kind of game too, but like that's not what they do. Like, remember when we were in grade school and the game was everyone had to say penis, but the next person had to be louder than the last one?
Right.
Till you get to the point of just somebody being like, oh, penis! That would be a better game. But this one's not. So, Asumi's really good at it. Because of course she is. She's a little fucking cute maid girl. And she just fucking says I love you to a bunch of nerdy losers. Because I'm going to stereotype you guys this week. You.
Well, they are pretty nerdy losers. I mean, like, look at them. They're like, oh, it's so cute. Oh, here's $30.
I'm specifically calling out the listener that's listening to this. That's right. Even you, Jason Pierre-Paul, if you're listening. Fuck you. Enjoy the Bucks. God damn it. I'm actually very happy for him. He deserves success, and I think like Florida area is going to be good for him.
With the beaches?
What page was I on? Anyway, so she's really good at the game. So they bring it to school, and Yuiga's one friend, the one who's not getting some, he's like, let's do this, because I want a girl to say I love you to me. And
Are you relating to Omori, Chris? Is that what's going on here?
no, I don't have eyebrows like that.
Yeah. Lucky for all of us that we don't.
Plus, I imagine a girl will find him attractive at some point in time.
They'll be like, oh, your eyebrows.
Yeah, like she's like, I love those like snake person eyebrows that you have. I only see those eyebrows on snake people. Maybe because the only person I think I can ever remember them on is the snake woman from the Pokemon Adventure game. She was one of the Frontier Brains. I don't know. No one played the Frontier Brains, did they? It just sucked.
No one.
No one liked that.
Well, you better know who they are for Pokemon Emerald, Chris.
So Agata is her name. She wants to play, and she's just like
her gamer spirit is on fire, Chris.
I didn't know she played games.
That's her thing. She wants to learn how to read people's emotions so that she can be good at games.
Is it?
Yes.
That shit's fucking stupid. So she's just like, I love you. I love you. I love you. And he gives up then because he's like, I'm so happy that I got, like, fucking pity I love yous from somebody else who was just trying to win a game. It's like if you knew the girl at school said, I think you're cute, and then still heard the other girl, like, say that was mean when you like, walked away. But you were still like, which is just a Simpsons joke when you get to it. That was a joke in Simpsons they did. When one of the girl was like, Homer Simpson, I think you're the hottest. And like, as she's walking away, the other girl's like, Stacy, that was mean. But he's happy about it.
I got a compliment.
So she has to do it with Yuega this time, but she can't because logically she should be able to, but love isn't logical. So she starts crying, it looks like. She really breaks down. Then, small breast girl.
Fumino.
Wait, Furuhashi, that's her name.
Yes.
Furuhashi is like, I don't really want to play, but these other girls in class are forcing me to.
Her fan club shows up. The one that was introduced very recently.
Yeah, and she can't do it because the two girls that she knows have like big crushes on Yuega are like right next to him. So she chickens out and she loses. And I kind of like it because Yuega's like, I'm really good at this game. He's like really proud of himself. I could see him being proud. Then they're like, all right, whoever loses this one has to do a penalty game. And they switch who's going first.
Right.
Do they flip a coin for that to decide? Because
Oh.
in every other iteration we've seen of it thus far, the woman's gone first.
Yes.
So I just assumed that was the rule.
I guess they did it randomly.
That seems... You should have showed us that. How could I ever believe this again? And they're like, hey, there's a penalty if you lose. And she's like, I don't care. And Yuega can't say it because he's a bitch.
Yeah.
And then the punishment's on him that he has to play the I love you game with the next person who walks into the classroom. And he's like, please let it be a dude. Please let it be a dude.
What a nice ending that would be. It's like all these women throwing themselves at Yuiga, and Yuiga just finds out he's gay. And they're like,
yeah,
oh,
like
shit.
the next dude who walks in's fucking like, who's someone really gay?
Chris Hemsworth. Like, come on.
Oh, well, I'd go Greg for Chris Hemsworth, wouldn't you? Everyone would.
Yuiga's like, Thor, yes.
I remember I was in a relationship, and the girl I was with, we were watching Thor. And she turned to me, and she's like, I'm not going to lie. For a moment there, I was like, who are you? She was lost to the fantasy of Chris Hemsworth being around her. She was just like, get away from me, stranger. So I know that feeling.
I don't want Chris Hemsworth to see us together. He'll get the wrong idea.
Yeah, he's going to think something's wrong, and I'm not open for him. But Kirisu comes in because fucking of course she would, and
right.
He starts.
She's the only girl who hasn't played with Yuiga yet.
He starts playing the I love you game with her, and she gets up, and her skirt's so tight you can see her panties through it, which I can't. So I'm 0 for 2 thus far in understanding how skirts work today, but I'm pretty certain there's no skirt made of a fabric so thin that it would show your panty line through the skirt. Like, even if she dug that shit deep into, I feel like there's like, people don't make cotton skirts, right? Like, that'd be a terrible fabric for a skirt. I'm gonna start wearing kilts, Nick. That way I can better relate with this series and try to understand it. So Yuiga has to go to the student council room, or the student instruction room.
Right.
And she's like, it was part of a game. This game sounds like it sucks. And he's like, yeah, I thought it sucked too. Kind of weird we wasted a chapter on it when half the characters in this series think this game blows ass. And then credits end. Oh, wait, no, hold on. They make a joke out of the fact she's like, you can't ever do that. That's inappropriate.
Right,
he's
right.
Like,
You are a student. You're a student, and I am a teacher, and we should, make sure that the structure of that relationship remains intact.
And he's like, oh, well, I guess if I'm doing that, I shouldn't clean your apartment anymore. She's like, bitch, clean my fucking apartment. I'll fuck your life up.
I do like the way that she puts it, though. It's like, well, Eureka, those are two separate things. I'm still going to exploit you for slave labor, but you can't imagine that I'm going to be friends with you.
That's pretty dope. It was a weird chapter.
I do actually like the ending. It's honestly the only part of the whole thing that I actually found to be amusing, because the rest of it is just like everyone's shy and teenagery, whatever. So,
Nick, you were shy and teenagery once.
Yeah, but I also didn't put myself into deliberately embarrassing situations.
True that. Nick, I don't want to talk about it in length because I actually didn't read it, but I want to talk very briefly about Hunter x Hunter this week.
Okay. I didn't read it at all.
Well,
so.
You don't need to read it because what I'm going to tell you is very amusing to me. So, I think we have a very good collection running now of very goofy names like Naja Coop and Ben Funk and all those. I would like to add a new one to that list, and that is Henry Big and Duffno.
Henry Big and Duffno?
Henry Big and Duffno is his name. Because there's a couple other characters this week, like Onar Longbow and Brocco Lee and Kenny Wang, but then there's one that's Henry Big and Duffno. And
Big and Duffno.
Big and Duffno, and that is a fantastic new name. So
gotcha. Okay.
I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh, when he brought this up, he's going to talk about the fact that two women kissed in Shonen Jump this week. And it's like, nah, there was a really funny name in this week.
All right. Let's see here. Next up, we're going to talk about the Promised Neverland. Chris.
What?
Yeah, Promised Neverland.
Did anything happen this week?
The demon dies.
Yeah, but it's like the ones we don't give a fuck about.
News and Numa. The whole point of the whole... I'm actually going to summarize this very, very, very briefly. It's chapter 79, everything put in this one shot. They have their special guns and stuff. The twins, News and Numa, trigger a tremendous assortment of traps. And then when they're finally caught off guard, the two that are, their prey use their super special guns to break their masks apart. Sonya ends up getting caught by the girl demon. I don't know which one's News and which one's Numa, honestly. And is like, I'm going to be killing you now. And at that moment, they get shot in the head. And basically, they explain that when Emma talked to them earlier, they were like, yeah, even if you're really accurate with your guns and stuff, the thing is that it's still really, really, really difficult to hit them in their one weakness because, they're moving around and they're keeping up their defense and everything like that. But there's a moment when they're distracted and they're easy to hit, which is when the enemy is preoccupied with its prey. And she learned that from their time in the jungle when the wild ones pursued she and Ray, and she was able to take one out with her bow and arrow. So, sure, the Sonya was caught by one of them, and because of that, a pair of snipers were able to kill her. And the twin actually reacts very humanly by, crying over her corpse. So that's something we haven't really seen before, is, that level of affection for another living being. That I mean, even with gosh, what were their names? The ones that helped them before.
Senju.
Mm-hmm.
Anna Marie.
No, but
Margaret
like that.
Thatcher.
Exactly. Yes, Margaret Thatcher, the demon. Oh yeah. So it's different. Yeah, I like
Mirabelle.
that.
Mashugana.
Meanwhile, Luvis has found Emma just waiting for him in the village. And that's where the chapter ends. So
Sanju.
Sanju was the guy.
It's not
yes.
Senju. Senju's somebody different. Who's Senju?
Senju is a demon thing. It's a kind of Anyway, that was Promised Neverland this week.
I legit forgot there was a chapter of Promised Neverland this week. I read it.
Mm-hmm.
I just forgot there was one because it wasn't very interesting. It's not like, look, I'm sure fucking Afro Kid and what's her face are like super interesting characters. If I don't know their names, and I don't really care about them.
I think it's Sonia and Sandy or something like that.
I don't care. I want to care. Don't let it be twisted and confused. I want to care, you know? But I don't, because these people are just, they're Afro.
We don't know anything about them.
What's her face? Yeah. So it's like,
it's the same thing as the people who killed the bratty demon.
But that was fine because her design was kind of cool. And that demon, like, cried for a while. But this one, it was like, we're going to take out these ones. I'm like, I didn't even know these guys were... I thought these were attendants. I didn't realize these were, like, actual things.
So, yeah, not even as good as the Vengeance of Forsyth Pendleton III. So, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Let's...
7 Deadly Sins?
7 Deadly Sins, chapter 259. War ravaged Britannia.
Yes.
And all the giant robot demons are on the front with their combat class. But they're not in order, which is really annoying.
It's very annoying.
I was like, those small ones don't look very strong. And then they're not, but they're like right next to like the second strongest ones. It's fucking stupid. So like, holy shit, this page is awesome. I don't know, man. I didn't pay attention to it before. It's like this 2-page string, like split into like 3 parts, and everyone's like fighting and doing cool shit. And then Pompadour guy, I don't remember his name. He tries to do something. He's like shouting something, and then Guela does something. She like makes explosions. I forget what she does, but she does something, and like the monsters are like, bad news. And then they start attacking. They're like firing back. But then the hero Death Pierce is like, no. My magic fucks with your shit. For I am Death Pierce. And he like cuts this koala bear's head off. Like fucking clean off. He broke his hand doing it and he's just like, dope. I love this shit. Fucking Ludashell's shit is dope. He's laughing about it. Death Pierce is pretty cool. I spit all over that. Gowther's like cheat hope. I don't know what he mean. I thought that meant more. I think he's trying to say like Ludashell's shit makes everyone crazy. Like he's giving them false hope.
I think that the idea
but there's no follow up
that
to like. So they did that thing in anime.
It's that
where somebody says something. So Nick, say something important.
Okay. My technique is called Dice Wind.
Nick, cut. It edits. It reads right there. All I said was your name. Because that's all fucking what's her bitch says. She's like, Gowther-sama. And she stops. We cut to a different part of the conversation. And you're like... It also looks like the sound effect underneath Gowther is saying fap, 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 fap. And there's an arrow pointing down to where his dick would be. I don't know. I don't think that's right. It's probably like flip, 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 flip. But I like the idea that Gowther's jerking off during this.
I just do it whenever, you know.
The demons are like fighting back, but then Diane rides in on a mountain, like a mountain tidal wave, and she crushes a bunch of people. And then King had to one-up her by like breaking one of the demons in half with his spear, and just fucking obliterated it. And then the heroes do some more good stuff. There's some like big beams, and Gowther's like, "That's Omega Arc." Which I guess is something the Archangels can do, because the other two that aren't Ludashell or the Dead One do it. And I don't know if it's something special that just those two do, or just any Archangel could do it. But they did it. Then we cut away, because that's the cool stuff, and we have to end on something else I don't remember. So it's the two commandments who've kind of like said, "Fuck this shit. I'm just gonna hang out over here." Monspeet and Deray and Deray is like, "Fuck this noise. I'm just gonna go to Zeldris and like just give back our commandments and be like, just have them. I don't want this shit anymore." And that's what it looks like they're going to do. But then Estarossa shows up and he's like, "Well, I have 3, and now I'm." Oh wait, no, hold on.
He's basically planning it. He's basically going to kill them and take their commandments, Chris.
Yeah, he says that'll make 3 that I have. So he only has. Was he counting his own? Because he killed the one. Like we saw him murder that one dude, like the eternal demon or whatever that was stuck. He took that one, so he should have 4. His math's wrong. He's kind of dumb, but he's cute, so he doesn't need to be smart. And that's the chapter.
Okay, so that was Seven Deadly Sins. Yeah, a lot of fighting, and that was basically about it. I have a very difficult time even remembering who the 10 Commandments are.
Oh, he gave up his own already. The chat reminded me, because I'm dumb.
So that's it. That there was fighting. Yes. Yay.
That's fighting love.
Black Clover! Last time, we basically were given an explanation of who everyone was and what the villain's plan was, which was to use humanity as sacrifices to resurrect the dead elves who were seemingly betrayed by humanity and slaughtered. And that's where we get in page 149, Reincarnation. And Raya was actually brought back by Fake Leashed, who nearly slips up the first instant that Raya is awake. Was like, Raya, yours. That this is Leashed. I mean, my mission. Although I think that Raya actually knows that he's not the real Leashed, based on the way that he says his name.
Well, so. Yeah, because he fucking said, like, that's Leashed, I mean, my mission. And he's like, you'd have to be fucking stupid.
Like, yeah, sure.
Probably still Leashed. Just forgot to use Leashed for a moment, like we all do.
I wanted to give a try to speaking in the third person and decide immediately it was a bad idea. So we'll forget that I ever tried to do that.
Like, Nick, if I ever show up on the show and I'm like, I need to find Chris's wallet, I mean, my wallet. Please don't think it's me. Because it's probably not.
Gotcha. And we actually see brief snippets of when Leash went around resurrecting Veto. And also, in a weird coincidence, Fauna, Mars's friend, looked the same as Fauna and had the same name as Fauna. So he's like, this cannot be a coincidence. I agree. It cannot be, because that's bullshit.
You know what would be kind of funny? Is if Leash went around and he was just collecting people, like he's IV training people. And he's like, fucking only 4 stats, perfect. Max IVs, fuck this noise. He threw people away. He got really angry about it. And that's why it's taken him so long to get this shit done.
He's actually been searching around for like 50 years before the series started. It's like, no!
He's like, how fucking hard is it to just get like a goddamn adamant nature on these motherfuckers?
Damn it! Shit. I need my Veto to be the top percentage of Veto.
See, you went with an easy Pokemon joke. I put in the hard work of nerdy IV training jokes. I actually don't know if that adamant.
That Rattata is actually the top percentage of Rattata if you look in the games files.
Yeah, I mean it is good. It's a very good Rattata.
But it is a Rattata.
Nick, what's your favorite vendor trash Pokemon?
Vendor trash Pokemon?
Yeah, like the ones that just always suck. Like, you know, Rattata, Sentret, Bidoof.
It's gotta be Bidoof. Because, come on, its name is Bidoof. So.
Yeah, it's pretty satisfying. But he turns into a bigger beaver that has water as its secondary type. I'm like, that's too
great
cool.
It's a great HM whore because he can learn, like, cut and strength and surf.
Nick, we don't call them HR whores, all right?
HM slave?
No, Nick, we don't. I mean, yeah, it is like essentially like Pokemon slavery. Like it's like the white slavery of the Pokemon world. But I don't know where I was going with that. Slavery
My
is wrong,
my actual favorite, in terms of like just like attachment, is probably actually Furret.
Why?
I was very heavily attached to the fur that I used in Pokemon Gold.
I like, well, no, because... Oh, I gotta go to Sarah Beat. Carry on, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
You do you.
So, by that point, Leash had kind of, like, reached his limits with just resurrecting those three. But achieving a complete rebirth would require resurrecting everyone else, which would require a tremendous amount of power and sacrifices. So that was why they said about...
Oh, they had Zigzagoon. Never mind. I thought third generation didn't have one, and it was the wolf, and I thought the wolf was dope.
Oh,
Poochyena.
Holy
Holy shit. I don't remember these names. I drank furnace oil, and I don't know the dangers of it, but I remember my hyena's name, even though I'm really tired. I hate my life, Nick.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, and Leash decided, we're going to use humanity to be the sacrifices to resurrect people and stuff. And now we see that plan coming to fruition. And we actually cut back to what was happening like 2 or 3 chapters ago, where he was just going to sacrifice the people who are following him. And they're all beaten up and stuff. They're pissed off. It's like, hey, you better not have tricked us. Like, no, he tricked you guys. Sorry. Their bodies are disintegrating away. Things are looking really bad. They're very upset because they've been betrayed. And one of them says, weren't we your precious companions? And Leash is like, yes, because you are the sacrifice that will revive my true companions. Well, that makes me feel better, I guess.
Not Radays!
I'm glad to see them go, honestly. I was kind of sick of them.
I was really sad when the one of those, I don't actually know his name, but he seemed really sad about this. Like, I don't know. He's really bummed.
They were actually heavily invested in this plan. They actually did have loyalty to him. So we cut to the hideout of the Eye of the Midnight Sun and see that all of their nameless goons are also disintegrating in the exact same way to be used as sacrifices. And then we see like this tremendous light casting over basically the entire kingdom. Everyone's seeing stuff in the horizon. People at the Black Bull's hideout are seeing stuff. And then certain people start glowing and columns of light start shooting up from their bodies. The first ones that we see are...
fuck me!
What's
Fucking
up, Chris?
the stupid paint dude's gonna be one. I thought he wasn't glowing. God fucking cock!
So Gauche is glowing, Marie is glowing, Luck is glowing, Real, a whole bunch of the members.
Why
of
the
the
fuck
Golden
would
Knights.
you make Marie one? You're like, my master plan.
I have a theory. I think that it has to do with
his
blood.
little sister?
I think it has to do with bloodlines.
Okay.
Because, for example, we see that Mimosa isn't glowing, her brother isn't, Noelle isn't. I don't think Nozelle is either. I don't know if we actually see Nozelle in this shot. Also, of course, Asta isn't glowing. Marioliona isn't glowing.
Yeah, you see Nozelle in that one shot, don't you?
Which one?
The last page.
The very last page.
Far right.
Far right. That's not Nozelle.
Is it not?
No.
Who is it?
I don't know. He's some large man.
No, the far right of the page, the head at the very bottom.
Oh, the very last one, the head of the very bottom. Yeah, so he's not glowing. He's not glowing. So I think that it probably has a lot to do with just like family relations and blood. Marioliona isn't glowing, and from that we can probably assume that her family isn't. So it seems to be the case just based on the large fucking number of Royal Knights. But hey, all these people are now possessed and they've got elf ears and they're evil now. And you know what? I actually am very happy with this twist because we've got ready-made villains. We split the giant force of the Clover Kingdom in half. So it all makes sense now. It's like, this is why we built up all these different people, why we built up how powerful, seemingly overpowering the Clover Kingdom is, because now it's going to be turning on itself and fighting itself. So there you go.
You know, I mean, what's kind of cool is they've already established, too, that these people can be saved, that you can defeat the person without killing them.
Mhm.
So, like, that, you know, you don't have to sit here and be like, we're not going to kill Gauch because he's a fucking member of the team. Like, yeah, of course not going to fucking do it because we already showed that they don't need to.
They've established that they can bring them back with Fauna, but it was a tremendous effort in order to just get her. So
I hope they kill Rill. I really do.
oh man, wouldn't that be great?
But here's the thing.
It's like Butler goes up to try and save him, and he's just like, nope, paints a dagger through his brain. And they're like, well, I guess we have to kill him. Sorry.
But here's the important thing. So, like, some people are like, well, they're just going to beat these dudes super quickly. They can't do that because fucking Yuno and Rill are already a part of that team. So, like, they can't fucking let their stupid special shitty snowflakes die that easily. So there's going to be at least a couple chapters to get by them. A lot of the other people will probably die pretty quickly and get saved, but those two will take a bit.
Obviously, Chris, the rest of the Royal Knights are going to have to retreat to the Diamond Kingdom, where they will be given shelter by the brainwashed Emperor of the Kingdom. They're like, oh, thank God we did this.
He's like, this sounds good. I agree with this plan. I also think Mars is super hot and sexy, because that's what he's programmed me to say. And they're like, you know what? It was a nice touch. Great hero, Mars. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, good stuff.
I thought he said revengeance. I thought that'd be pretty cool. Like, that was, like, his last call-out line to himself when he was William Vengeance. He's like, let the revengeance begin. And everyone's like, well, yeah, I mean, we all knew you were, yeah. He's like, well, that's... I mean,
what? Like, no!
I made it
my perfect disguise!
I made it into a sweet catchphrase, though.
Oh, gosh. We've got one more series to get through, Chris.
Cool.
All right. We're going to go over One Piece, chapter 898. We're almost to chapter 900. You think that they're going to be doing something really big?
No. It's going to be they eat potato salad in an elevator for 17 pages. Just like the Order of the Stick.
Chapter 898.
Nick! Did you get my Order of the Stick reference?
Of course I got your Order of the Stick reference.
I don't know if you did or not. You didn't acknowledge it in a way that was satisfactory to me.
How should I do such a thing, Chris?
Say you love me.
I love you.
Oh, stop.
It's a very action-focused chapter. Pretty much all of it is dedicated to the fact that Sanji and Luffy are getting saved by Sanji's siblings, the representatives of Germa 66. Sanji and Luffy, well, mostly Sanji, have to beat a retreat. And we get a little bit of catching up that goes on before all of that happens. They reestablish, yeah, we freaking destroyed all the invaders and took them out. It was easy. There are reports that are coming in from people that, holy shit, the German fleet is coming towards Cacao Isle, which is causing, chaos to erupt with Big Bomb's fleet. And Sanji gets in communication with everyone on the Sunny and says that, hey, pass by the harbor at full speed and I'll return as you're doing that. And then basically they're just going to get the hell out of there. Also, Brûlé has, basically been freed at this point, and she actually cries out in despair that Luffy beat Katakuri, which shocks, of course, everyone who's there, because they're like, what? He beat our undefeated brother? I do actually like the way that, we get all these reaction panels from everyone around who hears this news, and then it just cuts over to Luffy, who's still sleeping.
That must be nice.
Oven is the first to try and attack Sanji and Luffy, but he gets attacked by Ichiji. And from there, it's just each of the siblings gets 2 pages to show off all their abilities and powers and stuff. They use their elemental attacks and everything. And the end of all of that, they seem to be in the clear. And Reiju is thinking back to when Sanji first left the Germa 66 kingdom, and she told him to not look back. And the same thing essentially is happening here. You know, just like, hey, keep going, don't look back, get out of here. And,
oh shit, like a book.
Yes, exactly. A bookend.
That's this word.
And everyone on the Sunny sees that Sanji is carrying Luffy and is coming towards them. So that's where the chapter ends. It looks like they're in the clear, but they aren't on the ship and back off in the horizon. So, of course, there's still going to be something else that happens that fucks this up, at least briefly.
Next chapter, which we're getting next week. We're going to have it to be continued in a week or so, which is cool. Sanji's going to leap off onto the ship in like a really cool moment, and I'm super pumped to see that.
Cool.
That's it, really. This is a fun chapter. I like the family coming in to help Sanji. They all have their cool powers, and they're all helping. You're like, yeah, go Sanji family. Vin Smokes, that's their name. I remember.
Go Sanji family, go.
Simpson family. That's a Simpsons joke.
No, it's not. It's a Dexter's Laboratory joke. Did you never see the Power Rangers parody episode? It's a good episode.
What?
Yeah, there's a Power Rangers parody episode where Dexter goes on an exchange program to Japan. There's a giant monster that nobody can stop, so he has this special robot that requires 4 people to pilot. So he recruits Dee Dee and his parents to help him to do it, and they have a theme song when they're heading out.
So, like, one time my friend Jason, we went to KFC, and he asked for 3 pieces of chicken. He was really tired. This was back when he used to come over to my house and then just pass out for a while. My brother thought he was on drugs, but he's straight edge. He just sleeps really weird. So he went to KFC. He's like, I want 3 pieces of chicken. They're like, okay, we only have, so it's going to be, like, we only have so many white pieces, so we have 1 white, 2 dark. And he's like, no, I want 3 pieces of chicken. They're like, yeah, you can get 2 dark, 1 white. No, 3 pieces of chicken. They're like, 2 dark, 1 white. He's like, fuck it. And he drove to McDonald's and he got 12 cheeseburgers.
Instead of getting the chicken that he actually wanted.
He couldn't process.
He wanted 3 pieces of chicken and he got 12 cheeseburgers instead.
He could not process what they were telling him. And I understand that so much today. Like, I feel like I've seen the Dexter's Laboratory reference you're referring to, but I'm like, no, Simpsons did that joke. And I can't process that you're right. I know you're right, but
Simpsons might have done it.
I just cannot process it.
Oh my gosh.
I might go out and order 12 cheeseburgers today.
On that note, everyone, that is going to do it for Weekly Manga Recap. We're going to name our favorites for this week. Favorite series and MVP. I will go ahead first and say that I actually really, really liked Black Clover this week. That is going to be my chapter. I think that this could be the point where I actually, hey, if they keep on going down this path and actually stick with it, this might be my turning point on Black Clover. And I would absolutely love for that to be the case.
It's not going to be that good. It's still going to suck, I bet. I just want to be a pessimist to your optimist.
Cool. Favorite series?
One Piece.
Okay. You like the action. You liked the German 66 coming in to help everyone.
Yeah, like they all came in and help. Reiju's got this cool scene.
Awesome.
Where she poisons people.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite character this week, Chris? An MVP?
I don't.
You don't?
Hold on, wait. Put down.
Hold off on the cheeseburgers a little bit longer, man.
Put down zombie dude from Black Clover, whose name I don't remember. Or teleporting guy. Rades I remember, but I don't remember the teleporting guy's name.
The teleporting guy who was really broken up in Black Clover.
He was so sad.
He was very broken up about being betrayed. That is true.
He was so sad.
Yeah, all right. That's good. That's a good reason for me. I get it. All right. I am going to put down Azami from Food Wars for this week. I loved him being just a tremendous douchebag and being a holier than thou. You don't appreciate true gourmet, and just laying it all out like it's the most amazing revelation ever. And that's going to do it, guys, for Weekly Manga Recap. We want to thank you guys for joining us as we recorded the show live here on smashcast.tv/RoyalT and twitch.tv/RoyalT. We normally do the show at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays, but sometimes we do need to change things up. For example, if Chris had been any more tired, we would have had to probably reschedule. For that kind of information on updates and stuff like that, you can follow the podcast official Twitter account at WMR Podcast and also your host individually at RoyalT and at Nick F. Time. Also, be sure to check out our past episodes on weeklymangarecap.podbean.com, as well as on iTunes and on YouTube. And if you check them out in those places, be sure to leave a comment, leave a rating, subscribe to us, so that you can help us rise to the top of the hobby section and defeat our eternal rivals, those damned woodworkers. If you have any feedback, if you want to ask us questions for a future Q&A episode, if you want to suggest a manga for us to read, by the way, next week we will be talking about Pokemon Adventures, the Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Emerald chapters, then you can drop all that stuff in an email and send it to weeklymangarecap@yahoo.com. Special thanks go out to all of our Patreon supporters. Your guys' support allows us to create all sorts of fun bonus content for you guys to enjoy while we have and more stuff coming up in about the next week or so. And, of course, special thanks go out to Steve Mann, our talking artist. You can check out his work in a number of different places, including his own Patreon, and to Memphis Planet for all the stuff he does, like creating the frame for the show. That's it. We will be talking to you guys again next week. We're going to talk about Pokemon. We're going to talk about hopefully some more good chapters of Weekly Manga Recap.
You were the stupid one this time.
I did it. I made a mistake.
No, you're
Yay.
good. You're good.
More fun chapters of Weekly Shonen Jump, and also, whatever magazine Seven Deadly Sins is from. I forget. Shonen Sunday? Is that it? I don't know.
Nick, that was me.
Weekly Shonen Magazine? Which one is it? God damn it. Anyway.
You're the smart one on this show, Nick.
Well,
I mean, that's sort of like saying, like if it was like a comedy duo with Chris Farley and you're like the other one, you're like, well, you're the hot one of the group. It's like, yeah, but I mean, come on. Not for nothing, but
okay, that's good to everyone. Thank you.
I can't find OBS, Nick.
You just have to hit stop recording.
I can't find it.
You just it's on the bar, right?
There it is.
There it is. It's on Windows Explorer. Come on, just hit stop recording. Hit stop recording.